Welcome back to Caffeine Confessionals. My name is Allan, and we are here today to talk about the challenge Battle for a New Champion, Episode 5. I'm joined by my lovely co host. We have the Southern Luke Muncie,
What's up, guys?
the Vermontian Zoe Trimboli.
Hi, everyone.
Only one episode of the challenge this week, thankfully. No, don't have to do a super recap this week. We finally got the Mercenaries. The twist has happened. The clock has come down. How are y'all feeling?
Meh. Probably my least favorite episode so far, which is crazy because the Mercenaries are fun in my opinion. But yeah, it was episode 5. I feel like last week's episodes were so strong that I'm a little bit like, whoa, I wanted some more.
I was excited. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but the mercenary coming in, I got excited. It woke me up. Some parts of the episode I was falling asleep, but that woke me up, and I was really happy to see that competitor in particular.
And that one we're going to talk about, it was a good choice for that one to come in. I know I'd speculated last week, like, what if it's Kaz? And then, of course, they gave a sneak peek after the episode of who it was last week. So, oops. But yeah, I agree. I think that was actually a really great part of the episode. In fact, it was 30 minutes worth of the episode.
This episode had a lot of little things that I liked that I wish we just got more of, or just could have just tweaked a little bit, and it could have been a really good episode. Instead, I just leave a bit under. Like, I didn't hate the episode, but I was just a bit underwhelmed.
Yeah, I think, like I told them before this, I was taking notes on this just to try to keep up with what happens. There were so many little things, and I'm like, ooh, if they would have really like expanded upon this, we could have had some drama. We could have seen some background, asked these questions in confessionals, but it was like brought up, passed over. We went past it. Not much.
Anytime the daily has a big giant truck, I'm immediately asleep. That's just me. I know some people love that stuff and dig that stuff, but I'm like, this must be so cool and fun to do, but it's not fun for me to watch.
It just camera work just doesn't translate. It just doesn't.
It doesn't, and I'm sure it's awesome as a competitor. Like, I'm sure it's so exciting, but anytime I see those big trucks, I'm like, oh god, here we go.
Yeah, I do like the idea of them working in randomized pairs, but for this one, it's not like they actually work together. It was just they were like partnered together.
Yeah.
So maybe next week we'll get, well, we see what's next week, but we'll talk about that later. Hopefully we get more partnerships that they like actually have to rely on someone we've never seen them interact with before.
Yeah. Let's dive straight to the episode. We talk about pairs, and I will say, when the players in the show talk about this season and the format, their ideas for what the game can be has been more interesting than what we've actually gotten. Because I mean, a few weeks ago we had the idea that if you vote someone into elimination, only you can be called out. This week they're all talking about, oh, if you're paired with this person, if you're paired with this person. Nerys is talking about, like, well, maybe me and Kieran could be a pair because he's a strong player. I want to have a strong ally. He sees me as an alliance thing, and that was actually really fascinating to me. Except, as we know, that's not what's playing out.
It doesn't matter at all. Yeah, I don't know. I really would have liked to have seen maybe 2 mercenaries come in. I get why not, because that's a lot to happen in one episode. But like, if you're going to be paired up, let the pairs matter. Because if it's a God's Day, the girls' performance really does not matter unless they're aligned or they're paired up with someone they're desperately closely aligned with.
The only thing it really mattered it caused him a meltdown. That was really the only thing that happened because of the randomized pairs.
Yeah.
And even then, Michelle's idea of, like, well, I'm his partner, I can go in, was more interesting than what actually happened. It's their ideas, their conspiracies are like better than the show, which that's like see.
Yeah. And also, I know we've already kind of jumped into talking to the daily, but I don't like how there is not a punishment for getting last, because who cares? It makes for a good game for someone actually playing it to not be in the place of power to make these decisions. But for us as viewers, it's like, okay, so what is Jay going to do? Because so far we've heard that Jay's this great player and he's this mastermind. What has he done thus far? And I believe he could be, but is he playing a smart social game of not choosing power because that's what screwed his game last season? I don't know. There's just so many components that should have been put in there, but we're left without.
Well, it also adds this added wrinkle that if the pairs are randomized, it gives someone the chance to like sabotage their partner. Like someone could throw a challenge in the hopes that their partner they come in last and their partner has to go in. Like I am always pro last place is penalized by going in. I think that just makes sense. Like it's just all these people are competitors. If you suck, you go in. Like that makes sense to me.
And it also makes me actually want to pay attention to the dailies when they're going different rounds, because I'm going to be paying attention to, oh my God, they just got 1. Oh, they got 2. Thank goodness. Like now it's like, okay, this person got 12. I don't care what anybody else gets unless it exceeds that.
100%. And it raises the stakes, it makes you care, and it makes everyone actually fully compete. Let's talk about the actual daily challenge itself. As Zoe mentioned, players are attached to a semi-truck. They're on a moving wheel. Up top, above, at the top of the semi-trucks, there's a bunch of hula hoops / rings that they have to grab, and then they have to, as they're moving on the little wheel, they got to drop them on some posts that are by the side of them. Some of them have these little yellow pads where if you just get it on the pad, you get 5 points. If you get it on the pole itself, you get 10 points. We saw people adapt with different strategies. Some people use no strategy at all. It was, in theory, not a bad daily challenge, but as Zoe said, the execution wasn't great. And a big problem for me specifically, they didn't show a scoreboard, which even if like a team was doing badly, just show the score after every time we go so we have a sense of how well someone did, because we saw one team do very well, and then after that we just had no sense of how anyone was doing.
Yeah.
It leans into this idea that production rigs things too, also. When they don't actually show us as the viewer these scores, it makes me feel like they could just manipulate things to get the outcome that they want. So when I would have just liked to see the hierarchy of things, like you said. I want to know how people stack up against each other. I want to know like where everyone's actually ranking.
Yeah, I agree. I've got the pairs. Do you want them?
Go for it.
Okay, you might not, but I've got them, so might as well say them. We got Michelle and Asaf. I think it's fun. Kieran and Zara, which seems strange because they've been spending all this time together. Raven and Corey, Olivia and Ed, Mariah and Kyland, Callum and Colleen, Emmanuel and Berna, Jay and Melissa, Big T and Horacio, and then James and Aris.
It made me feel like certain cast members production was trying to protect there. Like that was their way of saying we don't care about Emmanuel and Berna because they're both on the chopping block. No one really cares about them, so we're gonna put them together because that puts them both at risk.
We're gonna save Big T and Horacio. We're gonna save Jay and Melissa. Michelle, if you get thrown in, we want to see you spiral. But yeah, I agree.
And we want to give Kieran and Zara to actually have a chance to win, so they're both safe.
Yes.
But as we saw, they did not do well at all in this daily challenge. One team did really well, though, as we all saw. It was Corey and Raven, and some teams had this strategy where they would just take a bunch of rings, and the second they got as close to the pole as possible, they would throw as many as they could. Some people, it just meant like automatically they weren't going to win because they missed, like Jay. He just like missed it straight up. But then Corey got like 8 rings on at once, and it was just kind of over from there.
Yeah.
How tall is Corey compared to the rest of the cast?
He's massive.
Like,
he's like 6'4", 6'3".
Yeah, he looks so long. Like they killed it. They were like dialed in and just like had it on lock. But he also like it felt like he was like this far from the rings.
Right. Yeah. He, as much as I'm going to discuss here in a little bit how much I don't like him, he's a good competitor. I cannot take that away from him. And height definitely helps.
Also, like his confessional look is giving like Powerline from the Goofy movie to me, and I can't unsee it now that I saw it.
I saw someone's tweet this week that said they have the same confessional look all season. That production had them, and like this is not a spoiler. Like somebody tweeted it, and somebody on the cast confirmed it to me that they made them change back into the same outfit. That way they could edit it how they wanted to in case the confessionals weren't that great. Which is such a shame because we can't trust the continuity. And plus, it's fun to see different confessional looks. But what we have is what you get. There is one other one that they did on the special episode they wore that once, they'll never wear it again.
That's so lame. I get why they do it. That they're trying to be messy. They're trying to stir things up and show someone saying something in week 1, then wait to show it till week 10. So whatever. I get why they do it. But like, if you are that desperate for like a confessional that is going to like rile people up, then either you as a production team need to make things more interesting in that house, or you need to pick more interesting cast members.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm
Alan, you look disgusted.
I'm disgusted. Like, I was gonna bring it up this week. Like, hey guys, have you noticed that like we're into episode 5 and they're still wearing all the same confessional outfits? I mean, the first 4 episodes, I thought that was a bit much, but I was like, you know what? This is the pre-mercenary phase, and we'll have the post-mercenary phase. I'm like, that would make sense, you know? Once the mercenaries in the game, we'll see them in different outfits. And like, dude, do you know how many times I've been waiting to see Nerys in a different outfit? Like, because her looks were all stunning last season. I was like, every week Nerys was just like stunting in a different look. I want to see these people in some new outfits because like some of them have good style, some of them have bad style. We want to make good thumbnails that aren't repetitive. Like,
I know. And as much as people probably can't see their outfits because the words are over them, it's fun to make. I color coordinated the episode 1 one. It made sense. And I can't keep doing that because it's the same colors every single time.
This is going to make me pay really close attention to the women's makeup here on out.
Well, when this person told me this, I was like, there's no way. Berna's had the same hairstyle the entire time. Surely production's not said, hey, do a very serious side bang every single time you come in for confessional, but maybe she has to. I don't know.
It might just be her look.
Yeah. Isn't it funny the things that certain challenge fans care about? Us. Yeah. Okay, so Corey and Raven win.
They killed it.
Yeah, they kill it.
And Raven did well too, actually. Like, Corey really killed it, but Raven held her own.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think that Raven, like, I don't know how to feel about her. Last season, she didn't do much for me. Like, the shoe falling off didn't impress me much. Plus, I'm a little bit torn because she voted in Kayla. It was a smart move as a rookie, I get. Maybe. They win in the next week. But she's doing well this season, and I like that she can have flaws and be like, ooh, let me backtrack these. And it was smart to win this week because it's a guy's week, because whatever guy she's with is going to take the fault for whoever they nominate. And she kind of played to that.
I really appreciate that she doesn't have it all dialed in because it makes her messy. Like, she's going to make mistakes, which makes the show more interesting to watch.
Yeah. And a big complaint, I think, is that these people have not been on reality TV before. She's one of them. But sometimes that's a benefit because she's not had to go through the firestorm of like people just absolutely attacking everything she said on TV. Even last season, it was 2-3 episodes. So she's not got this filter up that a lot of these other people who are on show 7, 8 might have. I really am appreciating her this season.
I think she's so unhinged just naturally. I don't even think I think she could be on 10 seasons, and I think Raven is just one of those natural characters where like I made like a tweet making fun of her, and she thought it was a compliment, and I was just like, this is exactly why you're you. And it just like, I love it. As a reality TV fan, I love it.
Can I chime in on something kind of unrelated but related? Her partner last season, Johnny Middlebrooks, was supposed to be on this cast and was dropped. If you're watching Love Island Games that he's on, they made such a mistake. He is so messy and just drama-filled, and it just came out that he's got a baby mama and went on Love Island Games last month and like has hooked up with so many people and like broken so many girls' hearts. It's just they need to have him back. It should have been the season, but
I truly can't understand when it comes to dropping people how he gets dropped. Like, I don't get that at all.
He could have taken Ed's spot.
He could have taken a lot of spots.
Could have taken chances. Could have taken basically anyone's spot. Like,
yeah,
he is a star. He is a straw that stirs the drink. He is a great competitor too. He should be on this show. Did I see somewhere? Someone might have joked. Did he post somewhere that he was 6'3"? That dude is like 5'7" too. That had to be a joke, right?
I think he was joking.
Okay, I hope, because that dude's my height.
But he also does wear platform shoes often, which no hate, but they're like this big. Like the pregnancy announcement, he's like cropped out of it, but you can see them walking, and his shoes are this big. And someone commented, "Oh, he got new platforms for the announcement."
I love that.
Anyways, they get told by TJ, Raven, and Corey to choose a male to throw in, which I found interesting because last week was a male elimination, but I guess it was to even the playing fields.
And they probably based on the mercenary they had waiting in the wings.
Right, for sure. And they choose Asaf.
Which, if you go back to the beginning of the episode, and Asaf is just like really leaning into Corey being his best friend and that he will do anything to protect Corey, which I was like, this is weird. Like, you have not spent enough time with this man to feel this type of way about him.
Which Corey even says, I get Asaf's point. Like, the past few episodes, I've seen a budding friendship there. But Corey's like, I've only known you 2 weeks. And I can't fault Corey for saying that. Like, sure, we've been watching this for 4 weeks now, which is still not that long of a time. But, like, to know someone that short of a time really doesn't matter.
I do think that Corey is probably snaky. I think that he probably tells a lot of people that they're so important to him and that he loves them and he's going to try and protect them. Like, that's the vibe he gives off. So I'm sure he said things to us off, and he's so like emotional that I think he thinks everyone is 1,000,000% serious when they say things like that he can't rationalize that Corey is definitely the kind of person that has said that to 5 other people at least.
Right. And I'm going to insert this, even though it happens at various points of the episode. It first happens here, so I think it makes the most sense. Raven says, I'm going to let him make this call because it's a God's day. I can put the blame on him. Later in the house, she says the same thing. But at Deliberation, she doubles back and says, oh, it was mutual. I chose you too. This is where she maybe should dial it back in and she doesn't have to speak. Because that is smart. She could so go to Asaf in the event he comes back in the house and say, I'm really sorry this happened. I let Corey make the decision because it was a God's day. Blood off her hands, but she just couldn't keep her mouth shut.
I wonder if she was just sick of listening to it. Or
Probably.
Like, also, even if he does come back, 1, you have to think, is he going to win? And 2, how much influence does he have? Chances of both of those things don't seem high, but.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I have a lot to say, but I'll wait till we get there naturally. Because I don't know what's next. Go ahead.
I actually want to piggyback on something that like Zoe talked about like last season and then earlier this week with like the season with like the Berna Michelle stuff, where like Berna's all over Michelle, and then last season Michelle was like talking lovingly about Nani. Again, we're victims to the edit. Corey might be saying nice confessionals about Asaf, but in this episode, we never saw Corey make those same confessionals about like, oh yeah, my friendship with Asaf is really real. We're really like close knit. It felt very one sided, so that's why the blind side, didn't really feel as much like a blind side, I guess.
Yeah, Raven did say too, and he said this, it blindsided her, I guess, because she said he wanted to protect all these international people. And for the past few weeks, it's been save the Americans, save the Americans, save the Americans, which Asaf is an American. I mean, he's an Israeli American, but he's an American who's been living in the U.S. for a long time. She was shocked to see that, and she said Corey played his cards. I think that was really unwise of him. Like, there were several other choices he could have made, but he didn't. I don't know. He did say, though, like what Zoe just said, what influence does he have on the house where it would really matter? It doesn't.
Especially because it seems like Asaf and Jay are keeping it on the DL that they're bros. So, like, if you think it's going to have some sort of impact with the relationship with Jay, that's not the case because nobody knows how close they are.
I agree. I even put in my notes, Jay had the weirdest confessional where he like growled at the camera and was like, why would you put in my brother? Now I'm mad at you. But in the same thought said, we're not telling people we're friends. People don't realize how close we are, which is probably good strategy, but then you can't fault them for going against someone. Like maybe Corey would have changed his mind if Jay had said to him up front, hey, I'm really working with this person. If we're working together, keep him safe. That's the risk you take if you don't want to show all your cards. I don't know. I'm a big Asaf fan, but like this season's not doing so much for me where I'm going to be like, oh, if he goes, I'm going to be devastated.
I'm not a big fan. I'm pretty like indifferent at best. He's fine.
Yeah. I liked him on his 2 Are You the One seasons, the second chances. Loved. Yeah. And then I really wish he would have beat Jay on Total Madness because him and Nani were very cute. She wouldn't have gotten with Casey, I guess, if that hadn't happened. But well,
she would have dumped anyone for Casey at any point.
This is true.
That was, yeah. Actually, it would have made it more fun if she had Asaf like following her around like a puppy dog, and then she's like, "But Casey."
Right. Yeah.
Luke got me excited.
Oh, sorry. Asaf would have said, "Oh my God, how could have Casey done this to me? I thought we were best friends." Meanwhile, there's no interactions.
He
got you.
He didn't even say Nani's name correctly. He called her Nanny.
Nanny.
So,
Allan, what did I get you excited for?
You got me excited about Asaf this season, and then I'm just like, he's been wildly disappointing. I'm sorry.
I've been hyping him up to so many people, just because I think he's a good character, but I think this season he's turned into a caricature of himself, which I guess if you're on reality TV and you're married and don't want to get involved in mess, the first option after that is to like play up your humor, but he's not very funny.
Also, when did he get married? Did he just like knock someone up and marry them? Like, what is that? What happened?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Because, well, I'm not going to speak on people's having babies, but yes, that is what happened.
No, it's fine.
There's more to it, but
I just like the timeline is like I'm trying to figure it all out.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of figuring out timelines, after they have this happen, there's this really weird scene where it's Melissa, Emmanuel, and one other non-factor in a room. And Melissa's like pleading with Emmanuel, like, would you say my name? Like, would you put me in? And he's like, I can't say, like, I have no reason to now. What was the reason he had before? And it's a God's day, so why did Melissa even care?
Is it supposed to be some sort of weird foreshadowing? Like,
could it be a Berna thing, like from like their blow up earlier?
That could be, which I already forgot about. But yeah, so that was random. But then we get Michelle, which I think like this really influences the rest of the episode. Michelle's face when Corey announced they chose Asaf, she was shooting daggers through her eyes. She was concerned that maybe because she was paired with him, she would also go into elimination, which Allan touched on before too. I think it's kind of a valid thought. I don't know if I'd freak out that much, but throwing alcohol, I'd probably be in shambles. So I think she has every reason to be concerned.
I think it just shows how Michelle's mind is always swirling about this game. Because, like everyone else, I heard TJ say a guy. I felt pretty confident it was going to be a guy. But this part of the game is called chaos, and she knows anything that can happen. And she is Michelle. Okay? Yeah. She's gonna freak out. That's her persona in the challenge at this point. That's who she's established that she is. So I get it, and I'm glad somebody's having a meltdown this episode. It was necessary.
Right. And just sitting here thinking, the obvious choice would have been Kieran, because he's aligned with, or he was paired with Zara, and Corey's not working with him. And if Kieran was upset, he could have said, well, I didn't know if Zara would also go in. We've had our problems. Didn't really think that through. I loved at the club scene, though, when Michelle was like, you knew this. And I genuinely think that Corey hadn't thought about it. I really think he hadn't. But Michelle said, you are too smart to be acting stupid like this. It is such a great way to like boost someone's ego, but also say, if you hadn't thought about this, maybe you're stupider or more stupid. Look at me. Than I thought you were.
And him crying, like really, like crocodile tears. It was wild.
And I have to remember that they were partners once on Spies, Lies, and Allies. Maybe there's a bond I'm missing.
I think they're both very calculating, and they did come in with a past relationship, and not too many people they felt like they needed to protect. But I think they're just, the way they play the game is very similar. Mm-hmm. So I bet that they've bonded over that.
Yeah, that's true. And even if Michelle doesn't feel that way, play up to it. Like, even if she doesn't feel that they're so closely aligned, yeah, I'd make them feel bad.
Well, it works.
Yeah.
Help.
Yeah.
I feel like their relationship is a they'll make a best friends Instagram story type post, and then Corey will ask, "Hey Michelle, what are you up to? Where are you at?" And then she'll just leave them on red. But they'll still be friends. That's the vibe of their relationship to me.
And then Michelle will message now and say, "Hey, did you get a call for 40?" And if he says no, she won't respond. But if he says yes, she will definitely continue correspondence until they go to film, which is fair. So also at the club, we get Colleen saying, "Kylan and Melissa are close. There's no sense in hooking up with the challenge house," which she did last season, so whatever.
No. Finding love. There's a difference.
She found love in the challenge house. With Fessel.
No one finds love with Fessel. Only Fessel finds love with Fessel.
He's been in a relationship for like 8 months now, I'm pretty sure.
All right, whatever. We'll see you next season. Give me a break here.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
Sorry.
also,
just stepping on something.
Zoe's a realist,
I love it.
You can't fault her because she's going to say the truth when I'm going to dance around it. We also get the little seeds planted of another relationship that's been thrust upon us the past few months. Horacio and Nerys, which I'm excited about.
Two hottest people in the house.
Yeah.
I am so here for it. I have never been more here for it.
I had to laugh, though, because Nerys has made it very clear that she's close with Jay, as he has with her, and Olivia is Horacio's ride or die and friends with Nerys at this point in the season. Olivia's like, "I've never seen an attraction there before, so this is strange, but maybe it takes time." She's a little hesitant. And Jay's like, "She's a party girl, Horacio. You don't want anything to do with her." Dogging her out. I'm like, "That's your friend, Jay. Don't say that on TV. She's going to see it."
I think he meant it more like he doesn't think Horacio can keep up with Nerys. I don't think he was like, "You don't want that." I think he was just like, "Who are you?" Like, "Horacio, you're the guy who's like sitting in the corner watching everyone party. Like, you cannot keep up with this girl." And I think Olivia's a little jealous.
You heard it. Well, I almost said you heard it here first, but you probably didn't. There's been speculation, but I don't know. Probably.
That's how I see it. I think it's, or maybe she's just really trying to give MTV a variety of opinions when she goes into that booth. But like, I could see why any heterosexual male would be interested in Nerys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it too. I'll co-sign Zoe on that one. This is a tough movie situation though for Olivia because Nerys is her best friend in the house, and that's like Horacio, and it's just like she's like, "This is my sister, and this is my these are the two people coming together. This is literally this is that Haley Steinfeld movie, Edge of 17, Edge of 16, something like that. I guess I'm the only one who saw it. My bad, everyone.
Well,
I think it's 17.
I've never seen it. I think it's the same fear that Jay spoke about last week, though, with Callum, of like, "Michelle, if I'm your number one guy, but you're with him all the time, am I still your number one guy?" Which Michelle said yes, and I believe. But if Horacio gets close with Nerys, I still think he would hold Olivia really high on a pedestal. Nerys would not let Olivia be the number one. Nerys is very assertive. She's not going to say, "Yeah, I'll be second to your friend." It's not going to happen.
And Nerys wants to be everybody's number one.
Yeah.
She's got like it girl energy. She wants to be number one on your list. And like has enough chaos in her that even if you are number 5 on her list, but you made her feel like she's number 1, she will pop off on you if you double cross her in any sort of way, or even just don't put her first.
Yeah.
Like, she is that girl.
Yeah, I agree.
I love it.
She's acting and she's doing, and it's like there's gonna be the comparison. Like Nerys and Olivia have this thing going on where like Olivia's been plastered in the face. She's not really been serving anything this season. Nerys just comes in every week. She's trying to play the game. She's trying to make moves. I don't want to say, I actually think she was the best female in that daily challenge. She was actually getting a bunch of rings on, which was a good showing compared to that, the swimming last week. But it's like, she's playing the game. She's making moves. and now she has some arm candy. And I'm glad it happened this week because completely put. I mean that hooey stuff that happened last week completely rearview window.
Yeah. And I just think that she has allies on the men's side and the women's side who are going to go to bat for her. She's in probably the best spot in the house.
Power couple.
Mm-hmm. So after the club, we come back, and Raven, Zara, and Kieran. Is Zara in there with them? I don't know. Raven and Kieran are definitely in a room together with somebody else. And they start talking, and Kieran's like, I feel pretty calm. I don't feel like I'm going to be called to go in. Foreshadowing. And also, he says, maybe Horacio should be thrown in because people say he's so good. To which Raven says, no, like, he's really good. He beat Jordan last season. And Kieran says, who's Jordan? Foreshadowing. And Raven says, oh, he's also really, really good. Like, he's almost unbeatable. And Kieran brushes it off, which I thought was fantastic editing considering the remainder of the episode.
Is that when we get a confessional of Kylan talking about Jordan, or is that when later?
I think it's when he first walks out and Kylan talks about like watching him on multiple seasons.
Yeah.
Kylan loves Jordan. Kylan just loving Jordan.
Kylan was getting me hyped about Jordan, but
yeah. I'm gonna message Kylan later and he's not gonna respond, but say, what are your thoughts on Ashley Mitchell? I really need to know. Because he's watched all the seasons.
Yeah, he's a stan.
Yeah.
Something I didn't like personally is that they let the house just vote in a second person to elimination, that deliberation, and they voted in Kieran. I don't like this because I think it's just going to be the U.S. alliance just dominating over the UK players. I want to see people make some moves. I would love a world where if we had this daily challenge, we say change the format a little. Say the top 3 finishers are safe, and then you have the first place finisher put someone in elimination, and then that person can pick anyone except for the top 3 finishers. Then you make people make moves. Then it's not just a steamroll, because if not, I'm really afraid that we're going to see people not trying the daily challenges and just relying on the numbers, and it just becomes the new version of the Vacation Alliance.
Right, which is smart for the people playing, but it sucks for us to watch. We need more of these like forced relationship dynamics because they cause the drama that we so desperately are wanting. The deliberation, though, I did feel bad for Asaf because we got yet another round of someone kind of looking dumb. We get a scene of James and Corey like building their bromance, and then right to deliberation where Asaf says, James, do you really feel like you're closer to Corey than me? And he says, yes. But Asaf didn't know that. And like, if you're being told something from someone repetitively, like you're going to think one thing. And he goes and asks Horacio, and Horacio's like, that's a hard question to answer. These deliberations, not a good look for a lot of these people. And if I were Kieran and Asaf said, yeah, let's go in, bro, like you're the best, I'd be like, shut up. Be quiet.
I don't think Asaf is that smart.
Right.
I think that he doesn't pick up on social dynamics going on around him. Because I did enjoy him on Are You the One, but I never felt like he was smart.
Right.
It was just like another event in a series of embarrassing moments in deliberation. But it doesn't matter because he ended up getting what he wanted because our American alliance steamrolling everyone.
Yeah.
One vote didn't go Kieran's way that was expected, and that came from Mariah. And she said it's because, well, she likes Zara as her friend, and Jay took offense to that, or was it Jay who took offense to that?
Somebody did, yeah.
Jay was saying she's brainwashed.
Who did Mariah vote for?
Emmanuel. So Emmanuel, I think it's interesting to know, Emmanuel was almost the person that Corey and Raven wanted to throw in Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Corey was like, no, he's from my season.
Okay. Now you're on this season. That's how this show works. Yeah.
I think that's just a perfect example, though, that Corey has leveraged weird little tidbits of relationships with lots of people in the house.
Yeah.
And I think Emmanuel is a good competitor, so there is a chance of him winning.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to stay off his radar.
Yeah. And I can't fault Corey for it. I mean, to have not been on Ride or Dies, like, he's at a disadvantage. So as much as I do want to dislike him, his moves make some sense to me.
No, they make sense. Yeah. He understands this game.
He's also a stan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He understands that he just overplays it at times. That's the issue.
He and Michelle are so similar to me.
Mm-hmm.
They have like plan B, C, D, E, F, and then the problem is everyone else finds out that they have all those plans, and it comes back to bite them.
Yeah. Yeah. They do not react well when people say, "Hey, I can see what you're doing."
Yeah.
But as we saw, Emmanuel was also potentially the vote here. He escapes by both times, but a target is on his back because he is in the weird middle ground where he knows a lot of the American people, but he's not necessarily with the UK people either. We just need to see how he navigates this game. I don't want him to navigate the game. I'm up for him gone because he's awkward on the screen for me.
Yeah. I'm just glad his compadre's not with him this season, Emmy. I forgot she existed until actually like looking up his Instagram the other day, and I was like, oh, that was a thing that we suffered through.
I don't miss her.
Whew. Luckily, I don't think we'll ever be seeing her again.
No. Thank God. Now, Mercenary time?
Yeah.
We get to the Elimination Arena. We got Asa, we got Kieran in there. They're ready to go to battle. TJ brings up the twist. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And they bring out Jordan, which is a real statement. I mean, the guy is 4-time champion, just won world championships. I agree with Kylan when he said he's the best to ever compete on this show. I'm behind you. I'm behind you, Kylan.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. Jordan's the GOAT.
If he had done the amount of seasons that Johnny Bananas has done, he would have far more wins, for sure, than he does now, is what I'm saying. I don't know if he'd had 7. Don't jump at me. But, like, he would have more if he did more seasons.
He'd have so many shirts with holes in them. He'd own so many clothes that have holes.
Yeah. And I will say, too, we discussed this on this podcast, but, like, Jordan kind of went away with the bad taste in everybody's mouth. And then he did All-Stars 3. And we said on here, like, this is his, like, reclamation season of, like, reclaiming his reputation. And then last season's the Nisa, like, we said the same thing. There's no way they could win, but he's going to get her to work hard and also apologize when he does wrong. I was excited, like Zoe said, when he walked out or ran out. It's like, this is pretty cool. He is, like, really, really, really great at this game.
He's just so fun to watch. He's so smart. He's so athletic. He will never not try, which the elimination was funny for that reason because it appeared that way. But I just, from like a competitive viewpoint, there's just nobody that comes close to him, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't want to leave this out. TJ did say if the Mercenary wins, they get to take $10,000, which I don't think Jordan would have needed that incentive to have take over. But, like, it definitely adds a cool twist to the game, I think, where there is a lot of stock in these eliminations now. So, like, sure, you might want to get somebody out, but do you also want to lose $10,000 from your prize pot at the end?
I love that wrinkle. And Jordan's exactly the kind of person that would love to rub it in that he's taking their money. Like, I just love that. Like you said, the vets don't need that. They have so much pride. Like, Jordan has so much pride that he does not want to lose to any of these jabronis. Like, just doesn't want to let it happen. But I love that they can kind of, like, if they win, walk out and be like, stole your money, peace out. I'm going to go lay on a beach somewhere or whatever. Like,
yeah. And I've talked about it on here too. I think we all have. I love when people's totals of how much money they've won over time changes, even if it's by $2,000, because sometimes that can offset their placement. So I hope that happens this season.
Jordan comes in, and I agree with you guys. Perfect guy to bring in first because he is just such a showman of it. Of, like, he loves being a mercenary. He loves being a champion. He's gonna talk about it like it is like a wrestling event. Like he like being a champion means so much, even though like on this like fake reality show, it's like this is a true sport to me. I'm the greatest. And I gotta say, best haircut he's had on the challenge in years. He looked fantastic.
Looks great.
He looks really good. I hate it. I hate myself sometimes. He looked really good. And he's like really good at things too. It's so much self-loathing when I find myself attracted to Jordan. It was great. It's great. No weird like who did he look like? The Simple Jack from Tropic Thunder with that haircut a couple seasons ago. Like it's nice to see him not turning himself into a caricature of a human being.
Right. Yeah.
He looked good. He wins some money, and they had the twist where I didn't really like it. It was a draw. 3 options, 2 players' names, and then I believe a third one is you could call anyone from the crowd. Is that a thing?
We don't know what it is yet. I'm assuming that's what it is.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's what it is too. TJ said we'll announce what that is if it gets pulled.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
I just loved watching Jordan this elimination. He's so smart. Because I think they were very evenly matched athletically and endurance wise. I think that this was a really good matchup for this elimination. It just proved how good Jordan is at this game.
Yeah. He's so good. But I feel like I'm going to be a skeptic here for a second. The draw last season, we saw all the swords pulled out. We knew what they said. Like there was no way we could say production rigged unless production told them which sword to choose. But all of these anvil, hammer type things that were pulled out of the sand could have said Kieran. We just wouldn't have known.
I don't know that it's better for production to keep Asaf over Kieran, though.
I agree, but I feel like they think Kieran could beat Jordan over Asaf. And maybe that can make for a good show. And like, oh, this rookie who's here to battle to be a new champ, beat the champ of all champs we brought in first. I don't know. I agree with you. I'm probably thinking too much into it, but I don't like these blind decision making.
If I had to lean one way, I feel like production would rather the champ win the opening one.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because it's just like really emphasizing that like these guys have something to prove. Like you want it to be close, probably, but like if you're making a big deal of bringing out these mercenaries, you want them to prove that there's a reason they're coming in.
That's true. And if all the people in the house keep winning, then no one's eliminated ever. And yeah, you're right.
I actually want to just dive like into full conspiracy mode like for a bit here, because I agree with Zoe. I think they wanted to have a definitive champion win first round to like stomp on the newer players, but when someone does eventually win, it'll become a bigger deal. And this elimination to me, like I thought it was very much built towards Jordan's strengths, endurance and speed. Like that's what Jordan is good at, and strategy as well. I'm going to be really upset though if every single champ is going to get their type of elimination, because like if I have to see Devin do another puzzle and then like act like he's the king of the challenge, like I respect his puzzle game, and I know that's what he's good at, but it's like, man, maybe see Devin in a different elimination for once. Maybe see this person in a different elimination once. Maybe that's why you're a champ, and maybe give everyone else a fair shot instead of just like getting steamrolled.
I think the only when I think about Devin specifically, the issue with that is like, Devin in a physical elimination, you bring him in as a mercenary, you're not going to do that.
I get it.
That would be embarrassing.
It's tough. I don't want to see him just beat someone in a puzzle and then it's just like, yes, I know you're good at it. This guy's an idiot who you're facing. It's just there's no winning either way. Maybe Devin just shouldn't be a mercenary. Maybe he should be a better overall player if he wants to be a mercenary. Like, you're a champion. I respect you. I think you're a good player, but I don't think you should be a mercenary.
You could give him one of those like carnival game things. So like it doesn't have to be a puzzle, but you could give him something where there's some strategy. Like and he's athletic. Like he's an athletic guy, so he can do things, but he's definitely not intimidating in the arena like a Jordan, like a CT, like even a Bananas. who is not
Yeah.
that scary in an elimination.
But his reputation alone is enough
Yeah.
to induce fear. Yeah.
Darrell, like, so all those other guys have these huge strengths. Like, Darrell is a physical beast. Has endurance. Like, granted, he's getting older, but he still has that skill set.
Mm-hmm.
You got to face Brad in a staring contest.
You'd lose every time.
That freaks me out.
Mm.
Only thinking about it, honestly.
Many don't. He wasn't even showing a promo. Maybe he just was staring too crazy. And they said, let's take this out. All right, so this elimination, they had to stand in the middle, and a light would pop up on either side on this ramp. Whoever got there first and touched the light got a point, but as soon as they touched the light, or a couple seconds afterwards, another light would turn on. Was it however many you got in a minute? If you got the most in 1 minute, you won. And there were 3 rounds.
Yeah.
I like the elimination.
I did too. I thought it was a great elimination. It was fun to watch. There was strategy elements to it. It could be physical. It was endurance. It was agility, like speed. It was great. It's a great elimination. I hope they bring it back.
I do too. And it had the potential to get physical, and it did at some points, which was fun.
Yeah. It's a scurry. It's almost like it's like a free range hog roll at times. It's an endurance competition, and running through sand up a ramp, that's actually really tough physically. Like, it's why they were gassed so quick. Is like through sand upward. It's tough. And these guys are both very athletic, very strong players. The first round, Kieran won, I believe, 6-3 or something like that. Something around that area.
Jordan was just trying to like guess which light was going to come on first and didn't guess right a couple times, and then just kind of was like, you got this one. I'm going to give it to you.
Yeah. I think that there are going to be people who say that he threw the first round. I'm with Zoe. I think he did not think it through. And then after that, he's like, game on.
Exactly.
And again,
it was a calculated move of like, I'm going to evaluate what's going on in this game, and now that I have a strategy, rounds 2 and 3 are mine.
Well, and like Zoe said, there's no point in him exerting any more energy round 1 if he knows, hey, I've got to win round 2 and 3 now. To which, in round 2, I was a little concerned, and I follow spoilers as we know are out there. Kieran just took off, and Jordan just kind of stood there. Theorizing here, because Jordan says, I'm going to show them how good I am. I'm going to give him a couple points, and I'm going to turn it up. I think that first one caught him off guard again, and it pissed him off. And I think he stood there and thought, you flew all the way out here. I'm sure he got paid something small, but you flew all the way out here to be embarrassed, because Jordan's a very mental competitor, as we all know. And I think it pissed him off so bad, he was like, nope. And he smashed it.
Yeah, he's insane. I'm watching it thinking he had just lost the first round, and then he gives up too, and I was like, he's not quitting. Like, that's not what he's doing. And then he tells you what he's doing, and I'm like, that's bold, but if anyone's gonna do it, it's you.
It's him, yeah.
And then as he's like getting those points back, takes the lead and he's counting. That I was like, that's the Jordan I love, right? Like where he's like 3-2, 4-2, 5-2. I was like,
as Kieran's gasping for air.
Oh, I just loved it.
Yeah, I didn't because I like Kieran, but as we've said, he was the perfect first champ to bring in. Like, no doubt about it. What a spectacle to put on.
He's the definition of giving someone the old razzle dazzle. He just knows how to put on a show for us like no other challenger does. Like, he embraces his role. He has fun with it, and it's dominant. The way he can just change direction and speed and like accelerate so quickly, it's insane. Like, I can't believe it. Like, this guy, like, trying to cover him in a sport would be almost like impossible.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he trains every day, and not just weightlifting. Like, there's intense cardio, agility training. Like, the man does all of it.
Yeah, he's not a guy that skips leg day. Like, Jordan is all in. Like, everything he does, he's all the way in. I loved watching him take control in that second round. I was hyped. It's an elimination I'm going to watch multiple times.
Yeah, I agree.
As time progresses, I'm actually like moving more towards not even that Jordan is the best challenge competitor ever, but he's just one of the greatest athletes I've ever watched. Like that's how insane I've gotten with it, because I think the stuff he just does, it's just no other human, like especially with his disability, like considered, like it's just like he's special on another level. Like he just like, and you look at his athletic background from before he was on the challenge, like this guy has dominated every level, and he's special. He comes to the show, beats Kieran, and like Kieran is literally crying because he gave his all. He gave 110%. He's a strong competitor. He's really good at stuff. But Jordan took his lunch.
Yeah, I mean, for people who watched Australia, Kieran was phenomenal. Like him getting second place might have really just been a factor of who he was partnered up with throughout. And maybe I'm misspeaking. I don't actually remember, but he was a good competitor. I'll give him that. Like strength, agility, speed. A lot of Jordan's strengths are also his. Jordan's just better. I do want to see him back though.
Oh, I'd love to see Kieran back. I'm just still thinking about Jordan. My students are learning about Jim Abbott right now, and for those of you who don't know, Jim Abbott was a professional baseball player who had a pitcher with one hand, and it took all of my self-control not to tell them about Jordan, because I'm like, he's cool. Like he's a cool figure to watch, to see. He's just such a testament to work ethic and perseverance and confidence. Like he has his flaws. They are many, but like I am so in awe of him, and I think that in certain ways he is someone that people need to see, just to show that like you can do anything you set your mind to. Like,
yeah, but just show him post real world and cut out that dirty 30 scene. Okay, I agree though. Like people can change, people whatever, but he really is inspirational. And sorry to take that moment away. Here I am being a hater. Maybe this is why people say I'm negative. I'm sorry, Zoe. I think you're right.
I was talking about my students that I teach, and there are certain parts of Jordan's history I would not want them to see at this point. So
we're skipping that. We're skipping the rat tails. We're skipping some moments.
Yeah, here's a good moment from Jordan though. I think he won really graciously. He gave props to Kieran. And this might have annoyed me if I were a competitor, but I also would have understood the merit completely. He offers a piece of advice. Like, there's a champ amongst you. Obviously, that's what the season's called. But he just says, you've got to fully immerse yourself in this game. Like, you're here, do it. Like, don't think about, hey, I've got this person back home, or hey, I'm going to party with this person when I go back home. He didn't say this, but I'm sure that's what they're thinking. I just thought it was really smart and reveals a lot about how Jordan plays these games. Yeah, he's really intense because he's so focused on every single thing he does.
It's not just competing though. Like Jordan puts on a performance. He knows to be a character, and that's why this elimination is so important. That's what he means when throw yourself into the entire part of the challenge, which is like I blogged about this, and it pisses me off about guys like Kylan and Jay, where like I like those guys, but sometimes it feels like they want to be badass competitors more than they want to be badass characters. And what made CT and Wes who they are is that they were reality characters who were awesome at the challenge.
Yes.
If you're just awesome at the challenge, then you don't get recast on the show. Then you're Joss Mooney. Then you're someone like that. Then you're a hunter who wins a championship. And we don't see you again. Like you gotta put on a show, be a character for us. Even then, also, Hunter's more a character than some of these shows.
Yeah, but you're right though. Like he was brought back after his win just for his dynamic with Ashley, and then he quit the funnel. Anyways, I could go on about that. But yeah, oddly enough, though, while Jordan's speaking, Emmanuel turns around backwards. I think he wanted a reaction. He wanted to get his moment. Knowing the history of him like hooking up with Tori after Tori and Jordan split, Jordan's not going to give him a breath of his time to even acknowledge that. What?
Well, he did in the best way, but it's like nothing stopped you. You could have came down here.
Yeah.
And it just like, I don't think Emmanuel realized, honestly, he could do that. Also, why would he do that? That would be so stupid. But like, that was the perfect response. Yeah. Oh, you wanted to face me so bad? Walk down in the sand and let's do it. Like, you missed your shot. Try it when CT shows up.
Yeah. And for the record, Emmanuel would have lost horribly, like worse than Kieran. And I think Emmanuel's good, but that's not his strength.
Jordan's just so much smarter than him. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that last round in particular, again, showed how smart and strategic he is, on top of having the perfect skill set for this elimination. I'm going to stop. I have to, but like, he's just so,
just keep going.
he's so good. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. We get some scenes for next week, and the Daily's called Bingo Bango, which is insane. But it looks like there's going to be some tension between Nerys and Melissa. We've seen the previews of Melissa kicking Nerys's back, but I'm hoping it's going to be an absolute blowout. Or blow up, excuse me.
I love a physical mud pit, like trying to secure anything sort of elimination, or not elimination daily. I love it when they get messy. This is like my ideal kind of daily challenge. This is always what I am looking to watch. So I'm excited for the daily itself and for whatever drama becomes from it.
Yeah. And hopefully another Mercenary. I think that's like kind of the linear progression here. So I'm excited to see who's next.
Same.
I'm excited as well. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And you know what? I'm just gonna throw a dig at someone. Asaf would have just gotten absolutely wiped by Jordan this elimination. Like, it would have been embarrassingly bad.
Yeah.
I don't like that he's still here compared to Kieran, because I think Kieran is one of the few guys on this show with actual natural charisma and a very good competitor. So him gone, Asaf being more of a caricature, not a fan of that. Would have loved to see him leave. The Corey Asaf blow up was like fun for 12 seconds, but I don't want to see it expanded over more episodes.
I don't care enough about either of them to watch it again.
Yeah. And no hate to married people with children. This is not a jab at you. You're not on the challenge. But like, Asaf is limited in what he can bring entertainment-wise. Kieran's not. I think the wrong person went home.
Yeah, I'm bummed about that. I think Asaf would have been just so embarrassed. I would have been surprised if he was able to score a point against Jordan, frankly.
Alas, that's not the world we live in.
Sometime, somewhere.
Yeah.
There's another timeline where we just have a better show. Like, if anything, like, that's not the detail we need. Like, we need a
if you're interested, comment below and I'll do a 12-hour, just kidding, but I could talk about it forever. But yeah, this is the timeline we're on. This is the timeline we'll talk about. We're in hell.
It's going to be good next week.
Yeah. I think so too.
I'm excited. Make sure to hit the subscribe button on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you find us, Twitter, whatever. Caffeine Confessionals. Have a great day, man. Like, it's just like, you just have a great week.